Greetings. Welcome to Dr. English's Book Lovers Book Club. I'm Dr. English and I teach English. This week I'm going to review a book that I just ordered because I want to go see the movie because my daughter texted me and said, Mom, you need to go see this movie. So I got Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, and I have to say I can't wait to see the movie. I suppose part of it is that Ryan Gosling is in it, but I'm very excited to go see Project Hail Mary next week. And I'm glad I got the book first because I saw on social media somewhere, I don't remember where I was at, but somebody was commenting about how the movie's great, but the book is really good. So I thought, okay, I'm going to read the book first. I will say this about the book, though. It's very technical language, and if you don't know anything about physics or aerodynamics and molecular biology, it might be a little bit technical for you as far as the language. I know you could probably go look all that up, but I don't really want to take the time to do that. But that was the only thing I did not like about the book was that there was so much technical language, and it was like I don't know. I mean, it says Andy Weir was a computer science engineer, and so I'm sure it's very. He says that he was a nerd, so I thought that really comes through in this because he kept the technical language, and I felt like in other science fiction kinds of books, I don't think it's quite as complicated. But for those people who happen to be those kind of professions, it's probably, makes perfect sense to them. They're like, oh, yeah, this is really cool. And I do know enough about like physics to understand most of it. But there are other things that I'm just like, I don't know anything about space travel. I don't know a whole lot about relativity. I mean, I understand it in a basic concept. And so I feel like, he did a pretty good job. And then things that he didn't really know how to explain, he just kind of like, or, just kind of forgot about it. So anyway, I just love the fact that, you have, someone who is just like going to, planning to go to another star system and found out this new thing that was causing the sun to lose, power. And so, he just kind of he had a dissertation and everyone laughed at his dissertation. And so it's like, we can't, you don't know what you're talking about. This isn't true. And it's just kind of sad because, he just, really put, and having, done that myself, I'm like, I know how much work went into that. And so anyway, it's Dr. Grace. It's Ryland Grace is the name of the character. And Strat is the person who's the woman who's in charge of everything, and everybody just does what she wants. She can fly wherever she wants, fly onto a naval ship. And so spending all this time and energy to get people to this other star system called Tau Ceti, I think it is. Tau Ceti. And so, and there are, three astronauts. There was a Russian, a woman, and a Chinese man, and then Dr. Grace. But that's not all of the story. So I don't believe in spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But I love the fact, of course, I'm a teacher, so I love the fact that once he was, kind of laughed off the whole, physics, kind of academia, he went to teach junior high school. And I think it's just hilarious because he's brilliant and he's teaching junior high school. And the kid, I mean, it's just like fun to know that the way he approaches everything in what he's doing on this mission is, the one thing that's just kind of funny and a little quirky thing is that he doesn't swear. And and when at the very beginning, he wakes up from a coma and he can't remember who he is. And why does he not swear? It's like, oh my gosh, do I have children? I mean, he just has no recollection of his life. And so I just thought that was probably one of the most quaint things that the author did was to make him a middle school teacher. And so there's certain lines he won't cross. And I find that funny. But also he's a very ethical person. And so I think that's a great thing that, he really does genuinely want the best for the whole entire universe. And that really does play into the ending that knowing that Dr. Ryland Grace is ethical and moral and will do the right thing is really what it would take for someone who's supposedly going to save the planet because the planet is in danger because of astrophage. It's a brand new, kind of bacteria that's coming from the sun to Earth, and it's diminishing the sun, and I think that's um, it's just, and of course everyone who's played football or knows, knows what a Hail Mary is. It's like a throw that just you just throw it out there hoping that it, the guy catches it. And this is, Project Hail Mary, because it's kind of the same attitude. We're sending a mission to another star system to try to figure out, what's going on and how they might be able to fix the problem of this astrophage. And I just love the whole premise of that. And I honestly tell you, as a Star Trek fan, I believe that Andy Weir is totally a Star Trek fan, because there are so many references to Star Trek in this book, and not just where he just explicitly says something about Star Trek, but there are other things. If you're a Star Trek person, you will just laugh out loud, because there are references to certain things from Star Trek that are in the book, and I just want to say, live long and prosper, Andy Weir. And so that part of it, as a Star Trek fan, I love it, and it's probably why my daughter said you'll like this movie, because both of my children, unlike their father, who just is not interested in any kind of science fiction, my son and my daughter both like Star Trek. And I grew up on the original series, and my son grew up on The Next Generation, and my daughter was the whole new Star Trek with Chris Pine and Zach Quinto. So my family has become, Star Trek nerds. So that part of it I really enjoyed as a reader. I was like, oh, thank you for that. I really appreciate it that he included that. It was just great. So I highly recommend the book, and I can't wait to see the movie. I wish I could talk about it to you now, but I'm just going to leave that go. I'm sure there are plenty of reviews of the movie out there, so I don't need to spend time on that. But this is what I'm going to read from the very end of chapter 6. The steady lights grow brighter, 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 and then finally disappears. Huh, I say. I wait a few minutes, but the light does not return. I make a mental note of the anomaly, but for now there's nothing I can do about it. Whatever it was, it's gone now. Back to the Petrova line. The first thing I want to do is find out which planet the line leads to. I guess I'll have to work out how to navigate the ship, but that's another challenge. I pan back to look at the Petrova line. Something's wrong now. Half of it is just gone. It's coming out of Tau Ceti, just like it was a few minutes ago, but then it stops abruptly at a seemingly arbitrary point in space. What is going on? Did I mess up their migration pattern, maybe? If it's that easy, wouldn't we have worked that out when the Hail Mary was wandering around our own solar system? I zoom in on the cutoff point. It's just a straight line, like someone took an X-Acto knife to the whole Petrova line and threw away the scrap. A giant line of migrating astrophage doesn't just disappear. I have a simpler explanation. There's something on the camera lens, some blob of debris, maybe a wad of overexcitable astrophage. That would be nice. I'd have a sample to look at right away. Maybe a visible light view will give me a better idea of what's going on. I press the toggle button, and that's when I see it. There is an object blocking my view of the Petrova line. It's right next to my ship, maybe a few hundred meters away. It's roughly triangle-shaped, and it has a gable-like protrusions along its hull. Yes, I said hull. It's not an asteroid. The lines are too smooth, too straight. This object was made, fabricated, constructed. Shapes like that don't occur in nature. It's a ship. Another ship. There's another ship in this system with me. Those flashes of light, those were its engines. It's astrophage powered, just like the Hail Mary. But the design, the shape, it's nothing like any spacecraft I've ever seen. The whole thing is made of huge, flat surfaces. The worst possible way to make a pressure vessel. No one in their right minds would make a ship that shape. No one on Earth would, anyway. I blink a few times at what I'm seeing. I gulp. This is an alien spacecraft. Made by aliens. Aliens intelligent enough to make a spacecraft. Humanity isn't alone in the universe, and I've just met our neighbors. Holy beep shit. Oh, beep again. It's the only time in the book that he uses profanity. Which I would too if I just saw an alien spacecraft. So that is the point of the book that I felt like, oh, this is like when the book turns from my perspective, because I wasn't expecting that. I thought, okay, they're just gonna go, they're gonna do their thing, they're gonna, they can't come back. And so because it's like a light years away. So this is a good one to talk about. Would you teach this in a class? I would say this is a good book. If I was teaching a creative writing class, I would definitely teach this book as a good example of contemporary science fiction as a mentor text. So I would definitely teach this in a creative writing class. You could do it, if you had, like an English it's acceptable all the way through middle school. I just don't know middle school. It's like 470 pages, but definitely it could be a great book club book, or novel panel book. I think it'd be a lot of fun to have students talk about this book on a novel panel. Like, what do they think of it? Of course, some of them would probably go to the movie and may not read the book. Mm. Uh, but yeah, I definitely think it's something to keep on your shelf and recommend to students if you're a science fiction fan like me. And I haven't read Martian by The Martian. I know there's a movie about that too, but I should probably go back and read that book too, and then watch that movie, because I don't even think I've seen that movie. I've been so busy, I haven't seen a whole lot of movies lately. But I love, like I said, I loved it. I thought it was really, and the way that it's developed, and even with all the technical language, it's just like you get through it, because then you get kind of on the edge of your seat thinking, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? So in that way, it's suspenseful, and I like books that are suspenseful and make me sit on the edge of my seat. So Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, I highly recommend it. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.